Hey, Sandor here, DM40S with the Voron series. I have built it already, but we are going step by step. A few things during I built it and things I will upgrade. I have built a 0.1 yet, cause I had a kit. The kit was from FYSETC. You read it here. They write it a little bit different. I call it FYSETC, but that's not the right pronunciation. You see it here. It was not sent to me. I bought it with my own money, so you hear my real opinion. Nobody had any chance to influence me or whatever. It is a 0.1 kit, so the first step was I printed all parts like they were in the package. On GitHub, I downloaded it, I printed all parts, and so far I can say everything fitted like it was described in the manual. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things I had a little bit to tweak or adjust, and I will show you pictures or little videos about these things. But overall, the printer is printing. I have a little bit of inconsistency, especially on the extruder. That will also be upgraded. But for now, my first goal, I told myself, is build it without modifications. And then from there, tweak it, pimp it to wherever. I'm not interested at a 2-minute Benchy, but I wanted a Voron, a baby Voron, 0.1. For me, it's the baby Voron. That is cheap. Yeah, that's relative on Voron. I know that. But good. So we will do some upgrades, but nothing excessive to break the world record of a new Benchy. That's not what I try to achieve. That's for now, and come with me straight to the printer, showing you some pictures during the build, and then video from the first print, tweaks, input shaper things, etc. There I discovered 2-3 things, because I have to say I used a Raspberry Pi Zero 2W. That's not the strongest, but at this time of age it is really hard to get a Pi 4. And if you only have one Voron to control, it's really, in my opinion, it's overkill to use a Pi 4B or so. Yeah. You have a smaller one, a 3B, or as I had here in a little box, a Raspberry Pi Zero 2W is mine. It's really fine. I had a problem, but later in the video about that problem, especially with the Zero. But I managed it, and it is all working. Now to the bench behind me. So here on the bench, you already see it. It is built, and you see my first 4 prints. Yes, I have not printed a Benchy first. I printed the numbered Voron cube. There are some things you can really fast see if you have problems with your printer at the Voron cube. From left to right, this was really the first print, absolute standard profile from the Orca slicer, which, that's a great thing, supports the Vorons. Also with my 02W over the air, I just hit upload and print, and it starts. That's really a fine thing. If you don't use the Orca slicer, give it a try. I'm really happy with it. So, let me show you the cubes in detail. Come on, focus. So, you see here the little red number, that's the number 1. And you also can see a little bit of overhang problems here. And if we go to the 3, you see a little bit of ringing. With an unoptimized printer, that's not bad, I have to say. I have really seen much worse printed. Also, you see here that the pressure advanced settings are not perfect. Of course, this was the absolutely first print after it has this stadium of the printer. So, number 2, I adjusted really only a few things. You still can see a little bit of overhang problems here, but not that much. I adjusted pressure advance, but it was not perfect. And if we go to the 3, you see no input shaper configuration, so it's still the same little ringing on the 3. So, number 3, if we go here to the 3, you still see no, come on, focus. No, what's wrong now? Now, here we are. You still can see the little bit of ringing cause still no input shaper, but we can see with pressure advance a little bit adjusted, it's better, but still not perfect. So I had to adjust this again to show you a better one with working input shaper. This is the last one I printed in this ugly green. You see these shiny areas here. There I adjusted speed settings and also temperature settings in this one single print I wanted to see. If we go to the 4, you see the overhangs here are much, much better. But you also see that here in the middle of the print we have a line. It's almost like a skip or a shifted layer. But then it came back. That's a little bit strange. Like auto recovery or so. But what you also can see, and let me show you this little box here. It's an SD card box with a nice opening here. You will find the link in the description. It's for SD cards. It's printed in this orientation. It's print in place. And if you can see here, this was all printed with the same settings. No speed adjustment, nothing. And you can see this inconsistency in the extruder. And this will be, I hope, fixed if we are upgrading the original 0.1 tool head to the 0.2, the mini stealth burner, I think is the name. And before we jump into the pictures from the build and some minor things I had to adjust, etc., also the problems with the input shaper, let me move the printer and I'm stopped talking so you can hear that. So let me move the axis a little bit. That's always 10 millimeter. And if we push the all home button, in my opinion, it's really a silent printer. Also during print, I show you later a print, it's really not super loud. Yes, you can hear the fans. Now we are jumping into the build pictures and I tell you a few things about that. Isn't it a beauty, the little baby Voron? And now we jump right into the pictures, because the video is already long. So we jump through the pictures. First, this was the kit. I opened it and you see there are the linears, these all the plastic covers, etc., hotbed, etc., Pi sheet, really a rough one. So this was the bottom part of the kit with all the profiles, motors, there's the PSU, the main board underneath, all little electric parts, extruder, hot end, yeah, nothing special. You have already seen that. That was the first frame, and there I want to show you this little helper here. I printed it. All things are down in the description. It was not made by me. I googled it and I found it, and that helps a lot to align the profiles with the right distance. What you also see here are these little letters. I marked all profiles before I started. I took all profiles out of the box, marked them as described in the manual, and so it was really, really easy to find the right profile at the right time. This is the build frame, and already the bed is mounted in the linear rails from the other side. Don't forget these little nuts here. If you forget them, you have to disassemble the whole frame. And what I also show you are these little printed helpers. Without them, the nuts are moving left and right if you're moving the frame. With these little printed helpers, they stay in place. So you can move them to the right position and screw in the screw much, much easier. Also link down in the description. This I show you, please really verify your pre-loaded nuts. If you forget one, you have to disassemble your frame again and again. It's really, really important. Look twice or 3-4 times before you have to disassemble the whole frame while you missed a nut. So that is the not finished frame, but the next step in the frame build. And there I had my first problem. This is the nut from the set screw, from the lead screw. And this part was too small. It does not fit. I first thought, okay, Houston, we have a problem. But we have no problem. There is in the package a second part, just a little bit bigger. And there the nut fits perfect. So that was my first, call it a problem. It is a weird picture, I know. This bottom here is the bottom black acrylic. It looks like a mirror. That's not the problem. The problem is you have to screw in here 2 screws. And the screws are at the same height as the acrylic bottom cover. And I was really not able to screw in the screws. It's impossible. So I had to remove the front profile of the frame, move the acrylic a little bit out, screw in the screws, put the acrylic back in, screw the front profile again in, and then, yeah, I was happy. So that was the almost finished frame. We are missing the tool head, but every other mechanic thing is done. No belts, of course. So now I had the cable chain, mounted the hotbed with the cables. I mounted it on the outside, so I had to shorten the cable chain by 1 element, and then it works. I was really happy I was able to do that. Normally this part is mounted on the other side of the plastic, and then this radius is a little bit wider and comes down here, but it works also this orientation. There you see it in detail. So here I had a little bit of, it's not really a problem, but it's really hard to get to some screws. And also normally you see this little metal thing here on the microswitch. At the manual it says remove it, but I thought I know it better and left it in, and you see in a moment what the problem was. It's not really easy to see here, but this is the metal part of the set lead screw, and this is the little metal thing, and it is touching here the nut, not the screw. It should touch here. You see it much better. Normally this metal thing should touch this screw here. That's the adjustment of the set axis, but it is touching the lead screw nut, and so the bed is way too low for the real height. That was a problem, but I fixed it. You see it in a moment. That was the back side for the first. As I assembled all the electronics, belts are in, tool head is mounted, everything. Left side, front side, top side. Oh, let me go back to the front side. Sorry for that. Yeah, front side, top side, other side with the cable chain, and you all see my stickers here with the frame. So, presentation view, and here I want to show you this little Ethernet USB hub head. Really amazing part. On the other side, the FYSETC Cheetah V 1.2B. It has the TMC 2208, and 2208 are not capable of sensorless homing. That's why I used the microswitches. So that was really the first power up. No magic smoke. That was good. You see here I had to do my own cabling here a little bit. Also I moved the set motor in the wrong direction. I never have built a Voron before, and I thought all the electronics is on the bottom, but on the bottom is only the PSU, and so I mounted the set motor in the wrong orientation with the cable plug to the front, not to the back, and so I had to make my cable a little bit longer. But hey, we all have a soldering iron, so no problem. The most of the building was really straight going through the manual. It is really nice described, but I have here and there forgot a nut, and so I had to disassemble a few parts. Really, it was no big deal. But let me tell you, check all your nuts on the baby Voron. That's, I think, one of the easiest steps to overlook. And then you come to a step where you miss a nut, and then you have to disassemble parts of the frame. And that is wasted time. Take a second look before you go to the next step, especially on the preloading nuts. And now, let me show you a print in time lapse. Then we are talking about the things I don't like and what I plan to do. But first, a little time lapse of a print. So the print is started. We are printing a 30mm Voron cube. It's a modified one. It's called the numbered Voron cube. Homing. The camera is about 1 meter away. It's the built-in microphone at the Sony. That is the fan of my PSU, sorry. I have a second homing in my start code. Doing a perch line. In my opinion, it's really not a loud printer. At the moment only the hot end fan is running, of course, it's the first layer. But now all the cooling fans are also running and it's still not super loud. See you after the time lapse. After the time lapse, of course, you want to see the result in detail. So let me show you some picture from the print. And I say that many times. Do you see this inconsistency here at the extrusion rate? We see it also on the other side, but no ringing. And also the pressure advanced settings are really good. You see it here in the edge. It's really nice also with the overhang. And on the 4 I had the biggest problems, and that looks amazing now. Here on the 2 you see it perfect. Yeah, no problems at all with the overhangs. No ringing here or here. I think I can see a little bit here, but maybe it's the lighting. The 3, you see here a little bit, but hey, this is really, yeah, on high. So, yeah, I think the result is amazing. The top layer, there you see also a little bit of the top of the bridging. Looks, of course, fine. It's a simple top layer. And here on the bottom, this really rough pie sheet. I think I will upgrade that to a finer one. And there you see the bridging also is absolutely fine. Of course, this was printed without supports. So, and I have to say sorry, while the video is already so long, we speak about the problems with the input shaper, the ADXL345 or the RP2040 from FYSETC. I bought that extra to test it, to show it, and I had problems to adjust the input shaper. It was not really, it was a problem, but it was not a problem. So to not make it longer, please come back for the next videos. There we are also talking about the upgrades. Maybe I already did 1 or 2 upgrades, especially on the toolhead side with the 0.1 toolhead. And I think from there are the most problems with this inconsistency in the extrusion rate. If you look down the filament path, where the filament comes in down to the gear of the extruder, it's not really a straight line. It's going a little bit in an angle and then straight down through the extruder gear into the hot end. And I think this angle or so, I have never seen this before in other extruders. Maybe it's coming from there. The mechanism to load, unload filament, everything works fine, so there is no problem. I also opened the toolhead again and adjusted this little gear, but there was not really an improvement from there. It's only printing a few parts, so we will, or I will, upgrade to the 0.2. It's called the mini stealth burner, and then I hope this inconsistency at the extrusion rate is history. So please come back for the next one in this series. And as always, all links down in the description. If you want to support me, if you feel I earned it, Patreon is a really great way to support me. Or send me a coffee or 2. Thanks for now. Wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy. Sandor, DM40S. See you in the next one.